Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome and welcome and welcome to the late one with yours truly, Silver and Sidiel, on this lovely Wednesday evening, 18th of November 2020. And I've got a very interesting topic today. There's always an interesting topic, but it's always get a bit more interesting as time goes by. And even as I embark on the show this evening, I've been developing things that I want to talk about as well, because this is a night where I call it the unapologetic voice, whereby I bring up various and different issues. Um, so let me see something. Valerie, if you are there, I think you've gone, so you're gonna have to come back in again, if anything. Yeah. So listen, uh, the topic tonight, as you can see, and I want to ask persons to also be a part of this discussion. I'd like you to be a part of this discussion tonight. It is very important that you are a part of this discussion tonight, right? Um, the topic is, and as you can see there are two aspects to the show, because one is it's about the Sainsbury Christmas advert, which created a backlash, and there are many people talking about it, and just love the family. And I'm going to play the advert a bit later, and a few developments. And also, I want to talk about this Africa Youth Benefit Concert, which is happening because of recent days. I don't know if anybody has seen what I've done recently. I said to myself that I'm not going to focus too much on what is happening in America, but I want to focus on what is happening in Africa, continent of Africa, where things are happening, and I'm sure nobody will disagree with that as much as possible. And so I just say hi to who is here. Theto Kasha from South Africa. Good evening. How are you? Theto, if you can just message Valerie to say to her to come back in. I think we got disconnected for some reason. If you can message to her to come back in. And Michelle Clark, blessings all in the live. Awesome. And what you can do as well, wherever you are, if you can share the video, yeah, that would be fantastic. Share it. And it's on Facebook, and it's also on YouTube, which is so crucial and important as well. You know, and I did a beautiful video today when I did my walk. And one of the things I love about in the mornings when I do my walk in the mornings, it is, I think people should really try to do this. You should really try and walk in the morning. Take a walk in the morning. And when you take a walk in the morning, you'll be surprised how you feel so refreshed, you feel so refined, and you feel so rejuvenated. While as you connect, you connect with nature. But anyway, I'm going to be first of all talking about South Africa. Now, Kenya. Let me just make it clear, Kenya. And I'm just going to go straight at it and bring in all the way from Kenya. Hey, how are you doing? Can you hear me?
Hello?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, absolutely.
Fantastic. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm joined by Valerie Waswa. Valerie Waswa, she's a lawyer by profession, expertise and knowledge on gender, public policies and human rights. And she's in Kenya. She's the founder of Village Pillars Empowerment, an NGO that advocates for gender equality by empowering both men and women. Valerie is passionate about social transformation and development of women, especially in Africa. She's also a Pan-African at heart. Based on her passions, she has dedicated her career and experience in making this a reality and has concluded countless projects and initiatives from campaigns, advocacy training, capacity building, and sensitization of the community to create a better livelihood for women. Why not go to Kenya? And also, one of the most important things is that there's a big event coming up on November the 21st, and that's the reason why I said, let me bring her on. And she's a good, to my good mate, Theto. Valerie, how are you doing?
I'm doing great, Silbon. How about you?
Yeah, fantastic, man. And how is Kenya? All the way from the motherland.
the motherland, Kenya. Kenya is doing great. We're trying to manage the pandemic. So
Yeah.
things are slowly opening up, and the economy is slowly but surely opening up. And people are going back to job, and children are going back to school.
Yes. So how was
Mhm.
the COVID sort of affected over there? I call COVID a terrorist. That's what I call it, the
Mhm.
terrorist.
Well, COVID has really affected so many. I want to say that COVID-19 has affected each and every individual in this universe. But here in Kenya, there are people who have been affected more with the pandemic as opposed to others, and these are minority groups. This is because even when we don't have a pandemic, these are persons who, in everyday life, they are faced with so many challenges, discrimination, inequality. They are having challenges with having jobs, either because they are women or they are refugees, so they cannot, start a business or get a job. They do not have a birth certificate, or it's persons with disabilities and they cannot get an employment because of their disabilities. Now, when COVID-19 has come in, they have even been more affected by it, because when everyone is trying to see how to mitigate the effects of COVID-19 on youth and on people like us, we tend to forget these blind people. We tend to forget persons with disabilities and refugees. This is because they are in informal trades. And when
Mm.
COVID-19 came in, most of these businesses had to be closed down because of the lockdown. So you get that they are the ones who are most affected by it. Another thing is that persons with disabilities and women are facing a lot of violence against women, either because it's sexual and physical abuse that is caused by them. And research shows that every time there's a pandemic, the stress levels goes high, and so you get that people take it out through violence. So who gets again to suffer? The voiceless. These are the women and the refugees and the persons with disabilities who are the vulnerable in the society. So COVID-19 has really been a spotlight to show us how much these minority groups have challenges that they face. Most of them have lost their jobs. Most of them are suffering, and it's really a sad situation. And I know that it's not just in Kenya, but other African countries as well.
Right, right. That's interesting. That's interesting. And in your before we go on to the particular reason why I brought you on, your
Mhm.
sort of job, because you say you're a Pan-Africanist, and but more
Mhm.
specifically you're into gender in and human
Mhm.
rights. If you can sort of
Mhm.
explain a bit about your job in Kenya there as well.
Yes, absolutely. So I will define my work as work in the public sector. What that means is that it's not really for profit, but rather it's non for profit. Profit, because it's to serve the society. So
Yes.
what we do with our organization is to reach out to the disadvantaged in the society, and it's not just women, but also men, to sensitize them on rights of women and to sensitize them on gender equality. So we do this through donations. We go to schools and we go to communities, and we donate sanitary towels and food. We also train women and men on business generating skills so that they can be able to fend for themselves and their family. We also create campaigns to create awareness about violence against women and even against men, and we disabuse issues such as patriarchy and toxic masculinity. So we do a lot of sensitizations, to let people know about what toxic masculinity and femininity is.
Yes.
So our projects are really centered around creating a change in how people see women and how people see men.
That's wonderful. And, the other night I was watching a program on Netflix, whereby
Mm-hmm.
there was a young lady. I think it was a true story whereby she was championing the cause for her lecturer at university was trying to get her to be abused her for grades. you know,
Mm-hmm.
Grades at university, and it was a very powerful film. I think it was, I don't know if it was Nigeria or so, but it was a powerful,
Nigeria. Yes,
yeah.
that's right.
And there's always been that championing that cause for gender equality and not abuse of, I won't say the weaker sex, of another sex. I'm being politically correct right here. Not the weaker sex, another sex. You
Mhm.
know. So
Yes.
tell us now. Tell us now. Tell us about the because at last minute, Theto. I must say, ladies and gentlemen, I had a guest some time ago, and his name is Theto Kesh. Theto is actually here now. He's from South Africa, which I met through one of the great things, which is called social media. There is you got this event on the 21st of November, and Theto reached out to me, and I reached out to him as usual and said, let me see how I can sort of put any support to this from the diaspora. I've got some Kenyan friends as well. So tell us about this event on the 21st, Valerie.
All right. So, Silbon, as I said earlier, we are all affected by COVID-19.
Yes.
You and I are affected by COVID-19, but then our brothers and sisters who are defined as minority groups are more affected by COVID-19 because they lost their jobs. They're not able to pay rent. They're not able to put food on the table. They don't know what the next meal will come. So this is a benefit concept, and we reached out to artists from all across the continent and even Europe. So we have
Yeah.
artists from Nigeria, South Africa, the Netherlands, Kenya, Tanzania, Uganda. So it's an event that is meant to bring together upcoming artists because, again, the music industry is an industry that has been greatly affected by COVID-19. So we
Yes.
wanted to use it as a platform for these upcoming artists to, hone their talents and people to know what they do and take them up for gigs and performances. Aside from that, we seek to raise funds to support 50 women, 50 refugees, 50 persons with disabilities, and
Mm.
50 youth because these are the areas of the groups of people who have been affected. And the reason why we have included these other groups is because we have partnered with the UNHCR, the Kenya Society of the Blind, and Alliance for African Assistance. Yes. So we seek to hold this concert to raise the funds to support 50 of each of these groups by
Mm.
paying for them rent, enabling them to start a small income generating activity so that we can mitigate the effects of COVID-19.
And tell us, and let me just play what I have here. I just play this
Mhm.
intro. What you have here, this
Mhm.
music here.
I like the way you give me love. Never put nobody above you. Baby, you're my baby Sancho, yeah, yeah. Baby, ujendo do. Mwenzako na home. Vikao vimeisha. Nimekumisi kino.
Doto hani, nakuita baby ni sweetie mami. Hunikinaya ni body sanchi. Toto body sanchi, yes body sanchi.
Sola kumoja ni body
Give me
zanchi.
love, yo. I like the way you give me love. Never put nobody above you. Baby, you're my baby Sancho, yeah, yeah. Give me love. I like the way you give me love. Never put nobody above you. Baby, you're my baby Sancho, yeah, yeah. Ukinipa ghetto twaitosh. Fujisha Insta.
So this is Saturday. So how can people then in the UK get involved with this, Valerie?
Awesome. So, first of all, the concert is going to be on the 21st of November, and that
Mm.
will be 5 p.m. UK time. So,
Yes.
during the concert, we are going to be running our fundraiser links, and it's an online fundraiser, and you can be able to donate whatever amount you can, so that we can support, these groups. Also, you can pay through whatever means because the fundraiser link enables you to pay through whatever options you have, whether it's Visa or PayPal or the others are local options.
Yes.
So the link, I will share it. It will be during the concert because we'd
Yes.
like you to see the performances of the different artists and not just donate. So during the concert, the fundraiser links will be playing there, and you will
Yes.
be able to, donate whatever you can to support these 200 minority groups.
Okay. Well, we look forward to getting the links, and
Mhm.
also Stato as well can also share the link as well. That would be great. Now tell us also while we are here about how is Africa, the whole continent, because in this world now, in the what you call the first world, the UK, USA, there's this massive move about Africa. Black people are seeming to be attacked in many different ways. Like in America, is what
Mhm.
is happening. Even here, there's a topic I'm going to flag up a bit later, whereby there's a black
Mhm.
family, and all of a sudden there's a kickback effect of that. Um, Lewis Hamilton winning the Grand Prix, creating history, but yet at the same time, he seemed like he has to try to prove himself. Do you guys in Africa sometimes look at these things and say, "I wish we could just take all you guys back home here to Africa"?
Absolutely. We look at all these atrocities that are happening to our brothers and sisters in
Yeah.
the Europe and in the US, and it really breaks our heart a great deal because we are of the same skin color, and that means that their origin is here in Africa. And at times, you ask yourself, is it really worth it? Is it really worth it to go through all these discriminations and being treated differently because of something as absurd as your skin color? But
Mm,
then, as much as we would like to have them back here, they always say, and I always also say that home is where the heart is. So,
yes.
most of them have their roots and their families and their ancestry, in the UK or in Europe. And so the fact that they are there, they have contributed into the economy of that country, whatever country they are in. They deserve to be treated as equal. So at this back, we are always furious, and we always want to know what we can do, because I always believe that we are equal, and despite our different identities, there is that one thing that unifies us as human beings, and that
Mm,
is the human dignity. And I never get it why you should discriminate someone because of their pigmentation. It just does not make sense. And
yeah.
it's very embarrassing in my take that in the 21st century, with all this civilization, we still get to talk about issues such as racism,
Yes.
something that is baseless, something that makes no sense. And people are complaining about a black family being in an ad,
Mm,
and using something as as pointless as the white people being left out from the ads, and they feel like a certain race is being left out. I
mm,
honestly feel like they still need that more that needs to be done to disabuse racism. COVID-19 and all these things that have been happening around us has shown us that racism is still here with us, and there's still a lot that has to be done, a
mm,
lot of sensitization, because it's whether we like it or not, there are some of us who still believe that because of our pigmentation, some
mm.
of us are better than others, you know? So, in my take, I think that we need to, have a little bit of sensitization or a lot of it so that we can learn how to treat our brothers and sisters as equal and see each other through the same lens.
Yes, yes. Now that is powerful. I'm going to ask you this question. I
Mm-hmm.
know I asked you just to come on for the first 5-10 minutes of the show, and it's now 23 minutes of the show. Do you mind hanging around while we just have that discussion? Because I sent it to you to look at it. I know you're not in the UK. Do you mind hanging
Yeah.
around with us and stay with us tonight?
Yeah, of course.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to go straight into this topic here because you may have seen this whole discussion about this advert whereby somehow the internet is on meltdown, whereby there's a backlash or white lash or whitewash or whatever as a result of this. Now, I'm going to play the beautiful commercial. I love it. It almost moved me to tears at one point just watching this commercial. And I encourage you guys to look at this commercial for a moment. Okay?
it's me.
Oh, hey, love.
How are you? How's Mum?
Yeah, well, we're fine. We're all good, we're good.
I'm getting so excited for Christmas.
Christmas! I just really hope I can see you lot.
Me too. I cannot stop thinking about Mum's roasties.
Whoa. What about my gravy?
What about your gravy?
Hey, you, what's going down?
Dad, not the song.
Gravy boat's coming to town. It's not any old shit, just take a sip. It's filled with scrummy and saucy bits.
How does Mum put up with you? Your gravy is pretty good, to be fair, and I just really want to be home for it.
So my gravy is the best.
Dad.
Honey, she says my gravy is the best. Honey.
Okay. I lost my colleague for a moment, but she'll be back if anything. Valerie will be back. Valerie, I look forward to see you coming back very shortly. There you are. Fantastic.
Okay.
I thought you were going to leave me.
No, I'm here.
You're there. Fantastic. Now tell me, it's a beautiful commercial. What do you think about the commercial when you saw the commercial there?
It's really I felt like, the Christmas vibe, and the family, being together with your family and having a good time over a good meal. That's honestly how I felt about it. I felt nothing infuriated about it. So it just brings the memories of being together with family and sharing a good meal,
Yes. Well, unfortunately, that's not the end of it, because as you can see right there, the company that who created the advert, who paid for the advert, which is Sainsbury, had to defend the Christmas advert as customers threatened to boycott the store for featuring Black families. Featuring Black families, right? And that is something which is very concerning right there. Now, I've looked at a couple papers, and one of them said Sainsbury had to step in to defend its Christmas advert after it was heavily criticized online for featuring a Black family, with some shoppers even threatening to boycott the supermarket. On Sunday, the Supergiant Market released the first part of its 3-part festive ad, with all 3 centered around meals that stir up memories of home and family. The first, called Gravy Song, features a father and a daughter on the phone as they discuss the dad's famous gravy. As the father and daughter chat, a montage of Christmas memories was flashed across the screen. It depicts the dad making his signature gravy. And along the way, people are actually saying, all I see are lovely families celebrating Christmas. If you have a problem with Sainsbury advert, you have issues. Sainsbury advert reminded me of that. Some people say, well, it's going to be an unfair Christmas. It is not genuine, because guess what? This doesn't reflect the UK. This doesn't reflect England. Now, what we're actually seeing now is of recent days, and you may not know this, of recent days, there was also this guy named, forget his name, this British Got Talent, and he depicted a dance of George Floyd with a knee on the person's neck, and he got a backlash. He got the most complaint, right? Somebody just sent me a while ago another thing about Tesco, where they took out a black person out of the image. And what I'm looking at here now is that there's a fundamental problem in the UK, right? And I'm not saying that all white people are of the same disposition, but if you're in the UK, what's your take? What would be your take of this? Seeing this sort of things going on with the backlash.
Yeah, sure. So, what was going through my mind when I was reading the tweets from the people who are commenting on the art, because, this is something that went viral on Twitter, is anger. Because, I really don't get it. There's absolutely nothing wrong with that ad apart from reminding you of, family memories. So the fact that there are people who even went to the extremes of boycotting to go and shop at Sainsbury because of the fact that the ad, included people who are black in complexion. Honestly, it does not make sense to me. And as I said, it just shows the loophole. It still shows that there's still a big problem in the UK. And if I was from the UK, clearly that shows that racism is still in and amongst most of us, most of our white brothers, because a lot of people actually supported the fact that the ad was, it excluded the white people, or so to say. So, in my opinion, that clearly shows us that there is a deeply rooted issue, and it's an issue that has not started yesterday. It's not an issue that has started this year, but such things just, play a role to show us that there's still more that needs to be done. And as I said earlier, it still shows us that there are people who still believe that some people are better than others simply because of the amount of melanin, in their skin. Something that really does not make sense. And so what this means is that there is need for, the UK government, the people in civil society, each and every individual to take up their role and to disabuse, this menace of racism. Because, big things start small. They say that a ship that sinks begins with one small hole. So it may be something as small as, this reaction on Twitter and people, even pledging to boycott shopping at Sainsbury because of such a commercial ad. But before we know it, it could be someone who is losing their lives because they, of prejudices, in the streets, So when small things like this happen, these are small cracks that show us that there are larger cracks, that there are larger issues, there are larger loopholes, and we need to raise up to the occasion. We don't need to wait until someone has lost their life for us to take it on the streets and say that something needs to be done. Where there is smoke, there is fire. So things like this, really, they need to be tackled.
It is a very disturbing chain of events. And one of the things that I sometimes see as well is that, if people are saying that they want to boycott the supermarket, one writer said, well, let them boycott the supermarket. At least people won't be actually seeing those type of persons there in the supermarket. And therefore, Black people can go to the supermarket feeling comfortable. But then there's a bigger issue now, because this is in society. So therefore, just because those persons boycott that supermarket, those same persons are within society. So therefore, society has this bigger issue. Let's look at this. Look at this comedy. Look at this skit here for a second. It's very interesting.
Me? I want to speak to your manager. Yeah, how can I help? Oh, I heard you say it in patois. I want to speak to your... I am the manager. Patois doesn't have any actual patting in it. Oh, 10 years ago, the only colour thing in here was the bags. Yeah, well, time flies when you're being a racist. No, I ain't a racist, I just don't like your Christmas advert. I want to see something that looks like me. Sure, well, the gammon is in aisle 7. Yeah, well, you talk about aisle 7, what about the world food aisle? It's like bloody Mumbai down there. Gary's Masala, Piri Piri, what's that Jamaican one? Jerk. You what, mate? It's called jerk, sir. Ridiculous. When I was a kid, yeah, Christmas was British. Frosty the Snowman. Yeah, now it's probably Mukhtar the Snowman, innit? Christmas is no one's thing. You can be black and celebrate Christmas, you can be white and celebrate Kwanzaa. Yeah, I do like Quasar, to be fair. But no, you've ruined it now with that BAME. I've made up my own. White and not kissing ethnic rears. Do you know what that spells? I don't think I can say on the shop floor. Yeah, well, I'm one of them. You definitely are. Have a great day, sir.
Okay, that's a guy named, I forgot what his name. His name is, I think I had it scribbled down here, Munya Chawawa. he always comes out with. I find it surprising how he just comes out with these things right away. He comes out like 2 minutes after, like he had some secret information that they're gonna do this, and he put these out. It seems like a funny thing. It seemed like a funny skit there, but what it is a reflection of what society is. I've always said, and of the view that racism is something which is permeated within society. I mean, if you look over there in America as well, I lost Valerie, but she will come back. Ladies and gentlemen, hear what I'm saying here now is racism. This is clear. The persons who are having issues with this are racist. You know, I'm not the type that like to say people are racist, if anything, but if they're not racist, they're close to being racist. And it is similar to the a lot of the what should I say, the backlash of the dance, which was done as well. Not everybody hated the dance who were white, but many people at the same time found it wise and found it right to somehow write in and make a complaint because they were offended. And right now what you're seeing is that people are offended. You know this is going to be escalated though. More anger. There we go. Talking about more anger. And I won't even touch onto the video which I received from Tesco because I'm not in a position to verify it as well. That's all right. I got you back. That's great. I got you back there. Yeah.
Okay, great.
Yeah. You know, the video which I just showed a while ago, I was saying, Valerie, is that the video is showing like a humor. Is it that guy's a comedian? But what is actually depicting is a humorous thing, but a reality which isn't there, whereby somehow are feeling threatened. I saw a post recently that said in 2060 or so, the UK will have more black people or people of color, if anything, than white people. London is a place which is more people of color. One, I've got to be so careful. You said black people, people of color, BME, because I mean, you must be happy over there because they just call you, what do they call you? Black, isn't it? That's what you're black in, isn't it? What do you call it in?
You know, we don't have any color because 99.99% of us are black. So, you know, no one ever realizes that they are black until they step into outside Africa. That's when you realize, oh, so I am black. But when you're here, you don't get to be, you know, discriminated because, you know, we are all black. And those who are not black are like the smaller percentage.
That is correct, because when I came to the UK from Jamaica in 1992, from a country where 90% of the people are black, I knew I was black, but it wasn't an issue that I was black. I wasn't called black. You just know that you're black. And then after a while, being in the UK, they started putting in categories: ethnic minority, Afro-Caribbean, black Afro-Caribbean, BME, BAME. And now it's all over the place, and I just keep rejecting it, and say, why are we placing labels? You know, as much as possible. But one of the things though is that when these commercials come out though, I think sometimes, and this is a controversial point I'm making, sometimes black people may feel as if they have arrived to be in a commercial on TV. Or a black presenter, we've arrived to see black personalities. Of recent days, there were 4 black lady presenters on a particular program, and everybody was happy during the Black History Month. We have arrived at the same time. And I always say that we don't need a newspaper, we don't need an advert, we don't need to be on a program to know that we have arrived and we are who we are as proud people, you know. And I'm glad I'm speaking to you here as a person from Africa, from Kenya, you know, from the land of the motherland. That's the motherland, not the UK. People always say the UK is the motherland. If you come from Jamaica, they say, you're going to London, you're going to England. Yeah, I'm going to the motherland. You know, I've always find that strange calling the UK the motherland. The motherland should be Africa, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. Well, according to scientists, That's what they say, that people evolved from, according to research, the old skeletons and the ancient history shows that man originated from Africa.
Yes. What about
Yeah, and then
what
you
about
also
women?
said something.
What about women? You can't say.
Man to man and woman. Man to mean humankind.
Yeah.
Yeah. But then you mentioned something about the fact that, a black person being on TV, or a black person having a black person as in a film show like Wakanda, does not mean that Black Panther, sorry, does not mean that we have arrived. And there's this thing, I don't know if it's in the UK, but it's called tokenism. When
Yeah.
you try to do something small to show that you are inclusive in nature. So let's say there's a company and a majority of people are men. So you put in there one woman so that it's seen as if the company is now inclusive. The company now employs women. So I think it's the same thing. And at times we black people, and I don't know, I don't get these categories, but let's just work with it for today. So we black people get to be regard ourselves as being included in certain spaces because there's one black person there, and so that's something to celebrate. I always say uh, deeply rooted problems need solutions that are deeply rooted. As I said before, racism is something that has its roots way back, hundreds of years back.
Mm.
And so if you want to solve them, we're not going just to include, a black family in an ad. We're not going just to have one person in the media industry and say that yes, hooray, black people are now liberated. We need to have real inclusion of people whom I would like to call the minorities, because that is also something I'm passionate about. And black people seem to be people who are, like the minorities in the UK. We really need to have proper representation of them in all spaces, in the media, in entrepreneurship, in businesses, in career. So I totally agree with you on that on
Yeah.
that bit. Yeah.
Now, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on. And what I have with myself here, Miss Valerie Waswa, gender, public policies, and human rights lawyer in Kenya. She's present in Kenya. I think the time now is a little bit after 12. Is that correct? Oh, she's gone. Okay, she went away. She's gonna come back sometime after 12 there in Kenya. So she's gonna come back shortly. Because I know it's late over there. But let me just hear some of the comments. So she's joined us because we're talking about the concert that they're having this Saturday. And I said I wanted to support it through theatre. I'm a good mate of mine in South Africa. So I said, so she's saying on a bit. But let me hear what some of the views are. But what is new? Why are you guys acting like this is something new, like we haven't been dealing with this for decades in our society? Michelle, I don't think we're acting like it is new. I think what we're talking about is to speak about it and to sort of keep exposing it as it comes up. Because I was speaking to someone today. Welcome back. Welcome back.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's all right. I'm just looking at a comment here by one of our regulars. Is what is new? Why are you guys acting like this is something new, like we have not been dealing with this for decades in our society? And I just also wanted to point out that one of the reasons why I said I want to talk about this on the show is not to say that it is something new, because we all know about these sort of things and the whole tokenism, but to sort of keep shedding a light. Because Valerie, I was speaking to someone today and they said we are silenced. The whole thing with social media now is fact checking and censoring. I don't know if they do that. This is something started from the Gestapo days, from the communist days, where they censor information, and people are saying we are being silenced. And I said, no, we are not being silenced. People are being scared for not talking up, and therefore we have to speak up. Who can speak up? What I'm doing is using my platform to speak up. everybody was a platform somehow need to speak up. The more people speak up on things, the more it is better. It's just like the vaccine, which people are talking about. People are scared of the vaccine because they feel like they're going to be forced to take the vaccine. If they don't take the vaccine, they won't be able to travel. If they don't take the vaccine, they won't be able to get a particular job. If they don't take the vaccine, they won't be able to go to church. If they don't take the vaccine, they won't be able to go to supermarket and all those sort of things. So people are somewhat scared. But I say, but the more people talk about these things and keep flagging it up, because things only happen from start. I'm sure Nelson Mandela, while there was the fight and the bloodshed, but a lot of it was with dialogue. Do you agree?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
You know,
Absolutely. Yeah.
so
Mhm, mhm.
yeah, yeah. So therefore, so I'm just picking up my point, and I go to Lorna. Said it is all to do with people making light-hearted humor at times. People are just so ignorant to some things and make a big issue when there's no issue. Re racism, prejudice, to somewhat thing out of context. Um, um, I'm not sure I understand what Lorna is actually saying there, because um, maybe it's a comedy with the guy, but this is something very serious, because the thing which is concerning is that you got young people and little children growing up in a society whereby they're going to be maybe trapped with the same thing for years come, unless something is done from now. What is it like in Kenya? What is it like in Kenya? I mean, do you have, and I know there's majority black, but do you have issues of racism there? I know the answer, but you can say it.
Uh-huh. Okay. So you see, we have something similar to that, but it's not racism because 99.9% of people in Kenya are black in complexion.
Yes.
But we have issues such as tribalism. Tribalism is a very, very, it's the elephant in the room when you come to Kenya. In Kenya, we have 47 tribes. So what this means is that we have 47 different languages and 47 different cultures and 47 different belief systems.
Wow.
So there are the majority tribes, and those are the ones that are in the political system. And then there are 2 or 3 majority tribes, and then the rest are minority tribes. So you see, everything that is happening in Kenya is largely because of tribalism. So it may not be as as loud as racism. Someone may not be dying, but it's a silent poison because you get that a certain region in Kenya is underdeveloped because getting jobs. Someone will employ someone from their tribe. You know, people vote for leaders based on their tribe. If I'm from this tribe, I will vote for them, as opposed to competency voting for leaders who have the capacity to drive the development of this country. You get that even during elections, we have election violence, and different tribes fight against themselves, and lives are lost, because of tribes. And all these things are the same, whether it's racism, whether it's tribalism, it's the same, and they have one thing in common, and one is that they are senseless.
Yeah.
And
So
2 is that they are baseless because it makes no point, to discriminate someone because they come from a different tribe or because they have a different skin complexion. All of them are just, I would like to call them systems of divide and rule. And these are systems that have been put in place with our founding fathers and people who have come before us so that they can have a way of, ruling us, because if you look at it keenly, it has a political underpinning because all these aspects have a way of oppressing a certain group to remaining poor all the time and not going ahead or advancing even in their finances, because you get that you may not go to certain places, you may not get certain jobs, you may not get certain investments if you're an entrepreneur because of your tribe or because of your skin complexion. So as much as there is no racism, we have the same menace here in Kenya.
So therefore, what you're talking about, I mean, what I find very fascinating with what you said a while ago is 47 tribes, 47 cultures, 47 styles, 47. I mean, and yet at the same time, don't worry, she'll be back. I think we might have some good difficulty there. That is profound, ladies and gentlemen, with what is happening there in comparison here, because the highlight of everything on the top level of everything is a high level of discrimination, right? And this is something that needs to be snuffed out. But every single person, I believe, plays a fundamental role. One of the things that I was looking at earlier in regard to the same issue here regarding this beast is that the racist is a mythical creature, ever elusive. Nobody admits if they are one, right? Nobody admits that they are. I believe plays a fundamental role. One of the things that I was looking at earlier in regard to the same issue here regarding this. Okay, I heard myself. I heard myself again. I don't know where I heard myself from, but I heard myself talking. Well, I always say that at least I can hear myself. You know, yeah. The racist, as I was looking at what someone was saying, the racist is a mythical creature, ever elusive. Nobody admits they are one. Doesn't seem to have a face. But my God, do we hear its voice, especially in the realm of social media? And one of the things about a racist is always saying, I got my good friends, man. My good friends are black. And you see the whole thing coming out a lot when you see like Lewis Hamilton, issues with Black Lives Matters, issues with this now. You see like this face, this ugly face which is there, which is just coming out at you. And it said, when press officers at Sainsbury pierced by the double-edged sword of trending Twitter this week for both good and bad reasons, it rang out once more the issue. The supermarket giant new Christmas advent feature that just so happens to be black, right? It's a elephant in the room that need to be snuffed out, but can it be snuffed out or how? I always say this, how can we bulletproof our lives against racism? Will we be able to get rid of racism in this period, which has been going on for years, for centuries? Or it is how do we bulletproof our life against it? Let me just hear what Michelle and what Carsten says. It's classism. You can't have racism in a black country. Okay? Did you say racism in your country?
Tribalism.
Michelle, she said tribalism. Tribalism is what's happening there. And that's a level of discrimination, isn't it?
Yeah.
And just like in India with the caste system, it is the caste system whereby it is discrimination as well. We just want to get our things right. Carson, it says, if you want real racism evidence, look at the recent lawsuit in Nigeria as Pfizer is sued for $7 billion over illegal tests on children. Now that's going to be a big one, isn't it? Because that's a vaccine, isn't it? Listen. There are big things. There are big things on the horizon, and this is just the tipping point of it. It's an elephant in the room for Europeans, as someone say. Do you think you can bulletproof your life against racism, Valerie? Let's look at some solution. Huh? Do you guys, anyone think you can bulletproof? I always speak about this. Do you think you can bulletproof your life against racism? I'm putting that to you.
You know, yes, can I go ahead?
Yes, please. Yes, please.
You know, honestly, if you ask every African in Africa, what is their biggest fear when it comes to, working or going to, another continent such as the Europe or the US, is that they're afraid of racism. We see every day, lives of people who are killed because of an assumption that they could be in possession of drugs, or they are just, you look at a black person and you think that they could be a criminal. When we see all these things, we ask ourselves, are we really safe? Are we really safe in the foreign land? So the question about, can I bulletproof myself from racism? I honestly, it is really something that I may not say a yes to it. I cannot say a yes to it as of now, because there is really a lot that has to be done. And like you said, it is something that no one ever admits. There are people who don't even know that they are racist. So all we can do is, say this is bad, but it begins with the people themselves, the people who have racist beliefs, to change their mindset and to see us as equal, because there's really not much we can do. It is about them to transform their mindset in how they view people of, different skin pigmentation. I don't like even to call them black people. So
Yeah.
it's a them problem. In my opinion, it's a them problem. All we can do is just speak out about it, but they have some work to do, honestly.
Yeah. Now that is very interesting right there, and that is taking a position whereby, you know it is something which is deep rooted, something which has been there for years, and as some writers said, and what has been happening during the course of the time regarding the George Floyd issue in America with the whole keg which blowed off, is that
Mhm.
the perpetrators or the persons who are racist, which is the white person, of course, not every white people are racist, but for those who are not racist, have to play a part in actually to address the issues of racism along with black people who suffer racism. Now, many people are of a different disposition. As you know, the term in law, take your victim as you find them. So therefore, I may not be affected by someone calling me a particular name or so, because I know who I am. I have the confidence in who I am. So therefore, somebody calling me a name might not affect me as though it might affect someone else with a low self-esteem and who is very impressionable. And that's why I believe, as much as possible, it is very important for a black person to have this sense of identity, to know who they are. And I find that is challenging issue in a country like the United States, in a country like um, UK, whereby persons have been brought up in a culture, in a system whereby they have been a recipient of racial undertone, racial overtones for years. Somebody said to me one time, Silver, you'll never understand it because you're not from here. You can be in a classroom for 5 years and the same teacher who has been teaching for 5 years, when you put your hands up asking you what your name is. That's what somebody said to me one time. And sometimes I can miss the mark at times by thinking that people need to just tough up. Now, that because I'm from Jamaica and I know that a majority of my life I've seen black people. I've seen black people in the banks. I've seen black people in politics. I've seen black people on the street. I've seen black people in every echelons of society, right? But that's not the same for persons in this country, for the United States, in a way we have been struggling. So that is something that we've got to be cognizant of, really. So, but I believe a lot of it, to my viewers and to who's listening, is that developing a sense of identity of who we are, because we cannot wait sometimes for the media houses to give us a platform. We cannot wait for the political fraternity to give us a hands up, because as I said to the person, and this is just my sort of message, we have a voice and everybody have a voice, but if every voice is scared of speaking up, then we are actually somewhat the persons who are part of also the problem as well, because we have to speak up. That's why we got heroes. That's why we have Martin Luther King. That's why we have Marcus Garvey. That's why we have Nani. That's why we have Nelson Mandela. They have showed us the way to say that we've got to stand up for what we believe, stand up for our rights, and be the leaders, not the followers. Sorry, that's just a message I just wanted to share there. You know what I'm saying? As to this, there's a Michelle just clarified a point which she was saying that I said that to answer a question that you asked her about it. Is there racism in countries? Okay, yeah. Let's go back to that question, because in South Africa is controlled a lot still by the white bourgeoisie, isn't it? What is Kenya like? I mean, is there some racism in Kenya? Is there some? What is Kenya like? I know you got a black president, and I mean, what is Kenya like? Is there any racism in Kenya? White people against black people?
No. The answer is no.
Okay.
But that has just reminded me that, in the entire African continent, when you step your foot in South Africa, you also get to be aware of your skin color. At times you get to stores and someone either walks out, or someone will wait to take another lift, because you don't want to take a lift with a black person. So in South Africa, it's there because, they had the apartheid regime for more than 400 years. So there's a lot of white people who decided to settle in South Africa. And again, a big majority of people who own big businesses, the who controls the South African economy are white people. So the fact that that is the monopoly in that country, they get to, there is the aspect of racism that is still there. But in Kenya, we do not have racism. I have never in my life, felt discriminated because I'm a black person. But then there's this thing. I would like to mention it, and I don't know what to call it. But when white people come to Kenya, they are given preferential treatment. They are treated better than the black people. So let's say you're going for vacation in the coastal region of Kenya. A lot of people come for vacation there because of the Indian Ocean. And you have booked a hotel, and both of you are waiting to be served on the table with what's the person comes to take your order, and they will treat the white person better. They'll keep checking on them and asking if they need something. They'll keep cleaning their table. They'll treat them a certain type of way. If you're clearing from the airport, there's a way in which white people are treated better than us. So there's this belief that black people have, that they think that they are lesser human beings. Like you said, there's that bit that we as black people need to solve. We have an inferiority complex. So you get that the attendants are clearing your luggages and you want to get into the airport. And they are going to really scrutinize your bag if you're a black person, because they think that you're more likely to be in possession of drugs or contraband. And if it's a white person, the bags are just going to pass. So there's that aspect, and even in schools, for the international schools where you have white people, there's still corporal punishment in schools. The black people will be beaten, they'll be whacked, but the white kids, they will not be whacked. So it is really an issue, but it's in the reverse, where we give white people a better treatment as opposed to our own people. So we devalue ourselves as black people.
And that is crucial. Keisha just said, same in a lot of Caribbean islands as well, whereby the visitors are treated much better than not just the natives, but also even visitors who are black. And going further, she has said a lot of black people, Michelle said, a lot of black people don't know their identity. And Michelle, I believe that is something which is crucial. Not knowing their identity is a very fundamental flaw. Not knowing identity. Whites treated better than their own people, as in the word of Marcus Garvey and replicated by Bob Marley. Emancipate yourself from mental slavery. None but ourselves can free our mind. And it is not something, Michelle, we go back to that. It's not something new, but it's something that we have to talk about and be aware of it. And Michelle said identity, identity. and not devaluing ourselves as much as possible, and that's why I always say it all the while, I'm not begging any space. Sometimes people say, Silver, why don't you try to pitch your show to go somewhere? And I say, why do I need to do that? I don't need to do that. I just stick on Facebook and YouTube. And if Facebook and YouTube say they don't want me, well, I just go on my yard. You know what I mean? I always say I'm not begging anybody anything. I'm trying to say we're going to make sure that we're not beggars, because the amount of money which is used for hair for ladies and so like that is not reaching to the Black people. There are some practical things, but we could go on forever. And your time now is what, 1 o'clock in the morning, close to it.
Yes, that's right.
but most importantly, you have been working in getting your show promoted. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So what you're gonna do before we go, we're gonna promote your show again, just to make sure that we got it from the top to the bottom. And this is what Michelle said. They do the same in Jamaica as well. We have a color complex. That's why I go back to so much bleaching, where we think the white is the poorest. They do bleaching in Kenya as well, bleaching of skin.
Yes. I should have mentioned that as well. Yeah. A lot of it, especially women. And so, the beauty industry is really booming. Because if you're selling bleaching products, people will sell it. And it's a mindset. People think that when you look lighter, you're better, you look more beautiful. So there's really that aspect as well.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you so much for coming on today. And I want to thank so much to Valerie Waswa for joining us all the way from Kenya. And then let us have the last word from Mr. Theto himself, all the way in South Africa, who made this possible. The mere fact that we still continue to describe ourselves through colors, I think this will give other colors to believe they are better than others. I've started calling myself African Mosotho tribe. There's a recent debate of recent days where they said a white guy was sacked from his job, or he resigned because he said colored. Yeah. And then there's a big debate going about, is it colored? Is it people of color or black? So therefore it's like white people sometimes don't know what to call. So if they see you, they're going to say, or see me, they say, oh, I mean, one of my colleagues, and she's on air, she said a friend of hers asked her, what should I call you? I don't want to make a mistake. Should I call you black, colored, people of color? Like, how would you answer that? How would you answer that? Yeah. Now, how would you answer that? Sorry, I think you got muted there for a second. Yeah. How would you answer?
Should I go ahead?
Yeah. How would you answer that? Yes.
I just don't get it. We should just do away with all those, classifications. Just call me by my name. Don't classify me based on my pigment, colored, black. Just let's do away with all that.
So you're like what Morgan Freeman says. Morgan Freeman says, don't call me black. He said, don't call me black. And well, ladies and gentlemen, it was a good conversation, very interesting, and we're grateful to have all the way from Kenya, Valerie Waswa. She's a lawyer, and she's very much involved. She's a Pan-African at heart, and she's very much involved with this Alliance for Assistance and Kenya Society of the Blind, organized the largest ever benefit concert that seek to support 50 women, 50 youth, 50 refugees, 50 persons with disability affected with the COVID-19 through donation. If you can just put that in a nutshell again while I put up the flyers, just say again briefly what it is about the concert, and I'll just put the flyers up again, Valerie, on the 21st.
Okay, sure. So as I said earlier, we are organizing an Africa Youth Unite Benefit Concert. So we are having more than 20 artists from all across the African continent and even the Europe performing to raise funds to support minority groups that have been adversely affected by COVID-19. They are 200 in number, and we have pointed them out already. These are 50 men, 50 women, 50 youth, 50 refugees, and 50 persons with disabilities. This has been made possible in partnership with UNHCR, Kenya Society of the Blind, and Alliance for African Assistance. The event will be live on YouTube. The channel is VPEP, VIPEP, at 5 p.m. UK time. So the links, the fundraiser links and all will be playing during the concert on that date, which is this Saturday.
Fantastic. And ladies and gentlemen, we will be putting up the link to it. You're going to send me the link so I can put it up so people can actually tap into it. And I said to Theta, if possible, if I get the link and if it's on YouTube, I'll just open my platform for it so it can just play from here as well, as much as possible to support you guys and the work that you're doing and people from here. Because I've sent this link to the show to some Kenyan mates that I have here in the UK as well. All right. Okay. Yeah. So I want to thank you so much for coming on, and thank you, ladies and gentlemen, as well for joining us. And thank you, Kato. Thank you, Michelle, Keisha, Kima, and those on Instagram and those on Facebook. Thank you so much for coming on. And it's a conversation that I'd like for people to lift your voices. My word is that no one is being silenced. We are being, if anything you're saying you're silenced, you're more being spooked in fear of not wanting to speak up. But the more persons speak up on different things, the better it is. I believe that there's a right for people to speak up about the COVID and the vaccine, because there's many discussions going on. I've heard where they said they're going to try to shut down the anti-vaccine discussions going on, but I think that's not fair. People should be able to speak and talk about these things, talk about videos. I'm seeing so many secret videos being shared. People sharing all these videos, but nobody's speaking up. You need to take the voice and put it up one level. You know, you don't have to be a conspiracy theorist, but you can ask questions. And the more voices speak, the more the powers that be will hear, because there's more people on this earth than the leaders who are in existence. That's a reality and that's a fact. Okay, so before I go, I'm going to actually play out the video which I have of the event which Valerie is promoting and which I'm supporting from the UK here, and to my family in Kenya. So Valerie, I want to thank you. Valerie, I want to thank you so much for coming on tonight, and thank you for your time. And let me hear with the last word. We thank you, Silver, the show team, and all viewers. Fantastic. So therefore, I've now got Kenya in my corners, and I've got South Africa in my corners. I'm building my network.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no, I made a decision. I said to myself, no, a few days ago, I said to myself, I'm not going to focus anymore on this Trump thing and this America thing, because if I do that, we miss out on something. There's so much other things happening in the world. If I was focusing on Trump and blah, blah, and then say, let me just reach out to Theta just a couple of days ago, I would have known that about this. I would have been maybe trying to think about, is it Biden the president? Is it Kamala? Is it Trump and everything? When you guys are trying to do something to assist your people there, while Americans are okay. I tell you this, Americans are okay in the sense they're all right in comparison to some other countries, you know? So Americans get that, take that to the bank. All right. Thank you very much. Yeah, let me just, I'm gonna play out this video now, and if you just stay right there, don't disconnect, Valerie. Okay. Okay. Thank you very much, guys. All the best, and I'll play this out. Thank you.
I like the way you give me love. Never put nobody above you. Baby, you're my baby Sancho, yeah. Baby, ujendo do. Wenzako na home. Vikao vimeisha. Nimekumisi kino.
Doto hani, nakuita baby ani sweetie mami. Hunikinaya ni body sanchi. Doto body sanchi, yes body sanchi.
Sola kumoja ni body sanchi.
Give me love, yo. I like the way you give me love. Never put nobody above you. Baby, you're my baby Sancho, yeah. Give me love. I like the way you give me love. Never put nobody above you. Baby, you're my baby Sancho, yeah. ghetto twaitosh. Fujisha insta wa post. Posti wa kosti mashost.